A fire last night in the Comox Valley destroyed a home just north of Courtenay. The blaze broke out shortly before 9, and when firefighters arrived, there was little they could do to save the structure. It's an all too common event when firefighters are called out to rural areas. A News reporter Gord Kurbis reports.
When firefighters arrive on the scene of this house fire north of Courtenay, it is already too late for them to save it. They first determine nobody is inside, then they do their best to knock the blaze down.
When we arrived, the entire structure was burning, inside and the exterior. Looks like it had been burning for a while.
It was a neighbor that called 911 after noticing smoke and flames pouring out of the 1,000-square-foot home. A woman house-sitting the property had stoked up the wood stove a few hours earlier. She was understandably upset to return back to find the building ablaze.
Oh, very, very distraught. She's missing a pet right now.
Even before Courtenay crews had reached the property, they noticed dark smoke billowing from the scene and immediately called in for assistance from Oyster River. It's a common procedure when dealing with fires far past the city's last fire hydrants.
The biggest problem with rural fires is getting water to the scene. This is a long haul out this direction, so we're using our tanker and Oyster River's tanker to shuttle water back and forth.
This afternoon, crews are called back once again to deal with a small flare-up, and in the light of day, investigators can see the extent of the damage.
There's so much severe fire damage here that it'd be pretty hard to exactly determine what it was. There was only a few ignition sources. They had a baseboard heater and a microwave that was used yesterday. They did have a wood stove that was stoked up prior to the person leaving the residence.
Having quicker access to more water likely wouldn't have changed the outcome in this situation, but it is something that's always on the minds of firefighters.
There's a good chunk of our area that is rural, no hydrants out there, so our policy is with a rural fire is we send an engine first and then our tanker.
One preventive measure the Courtenay Fire Department has taken is they've installed large water tanks like this one at strategic locations. It's all in an attempt to get more water out to the rural areas for times of emergency. Tankers are able to use those towers to make shuttle runs to refill, but the fire department says it's important for those who live far from the city limits to take extra precautions themselves.
Because of the possible power outages, you have hardwired smoke alarms, make sure you got a battery backup. Be very careful with candles, and then have a couple of larger fire extinguishers, so if you do have a fire, you can try to either control it or extinguish it.
Efforts were still underway this afternoon to try to contact the owner of this home, who is vacationing in Mexico. North of Courtenay, Gord Kurbis, A News.